TV is very pleased to be joined by another reporter right now, Jodi Klein, who is a reporter for Bloomberg News. Talk to us a little bit about, Jodi, what you do with Bloomberg.
So I cover restructuring and bankruptcy for Bloomberg News for the last couple of years. And before that, I was with the Wall Street Journal covering M&A and the restructuring space when the auto industry blew up back in 2008.
You've been described as prolific with the way you get stories out. Talk to us about the importance these days of having an emphasis on getting the message out any way you can, whether it be Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook.
Thanks for the nice words. As we know, the markets are blowing up so much that there's not lack of material to write about. We at Bloomberg definitely has been working nonstop, putting those stories out. Now the push is to get your stories out in different platforms, in print, on the terminal, and on the website. And then we are doing TV, we're doing radios, and to talk about the trends, talk about restructuring situations. Essentially, we are trying to reach out to the biggest audience possible out there.
Yeah, there's no such thing as waiting until tomorrow's newspaper because those headlines have already made it instantly.
Exactly.
And you're staying on the cutting edge of that. Okay, let's talk about the biggest buzzes that you're writing about right now. Of course, distressed investing. What opportunities are you seeing? What are you writing about right now?
A lot of the stories I've been writing about are in the energy space. As everybody knows, we have been experiencing one of the lowest energy environment for 12 years, at the lowest in 12 years. So a lot of the energy space, companies are struggling, and a lot of them have filed for bankruptcy last year. There are fights in court, creditors trying to jockeying for the best position to get the biggest recovery in the bankruptcy. We've seen a lot of that. Another sector sort of is the peripheral of the energy space is the coal industry. We've seen 6 companies file for bankruptcy in the matter of last 2 years, and Arch Coal, second biggest coal miner in the US, filed for bankruptcy this year. And now everybody's looking at the biggest coal miner in the US, which is Peabody Energy. Can they survive or can they not survive? So that's the question mark.
Yeah, the misconception I think out in the public right now in the American economy is, we drive to the gas station, we're so happy that it's $1.90 to put a gallon of gas, but what's good for our pocketbook isn't necessarily good for the economy.
It's surprising. People keep saying that more disposable income doesn't really translate into better economy, not we have seen. I think a lot of the disposable income has been used to pay down household debt and things like that. It's more urgent rather than translating into consumption.
What other sectors are you seeing a lot of activity in? Do you foresee more in health and retail?
Retail is for sure. I think it's going to be outside energy. It's going to be one of the biggest sector to be impacted. Going to go into restructuring this year. We've seen a lot of them already over the past year. Big box retailers, mall-based retailers, especially teenage apparel makers are all in trouble. Aeropostale, for example. Now you are spilling over to some of the better sectors, subsectors, like sporting goods makers, like Sports Authority. These guys are getting into trouble. The part of the reason why is if you look at the capital market as a whole, last year we had a very open capital market. Essentially what that means for the borrowers is they can raise more capital if they need it to refinance their existing debt. Not anymore. Right now, we're experiencing a scale back from the capital market. In January, we saw 33 billion of high-yield debt issuance. That's the lowest in the last 10 years. That tells us something. That means that capital market mutual funds and hedge funds are not as receptive of buying into this debt as they used to. Borrowers are going to have a more difficult time raising debt. If that's a problem, they're going to restructure out of court or in court.
And what's the chatter you hear as far as the opportunities to invest in distressed companies for 2016 into 2017? Is there optimism?
I think this is the year for the restructuring community. The year has come. Everybody needs to get ready and get busy. And we've already heard a lot of the restructuring firms are beefing up their capacity by hiring people, expanding. It's going to be an optimistic year for this community, not for the economy, but for this community. We're going to get a lot of mandates because a lot of the companies will need the help.
Well, Jodi, we will continue to follow the trends by watching you and reading your tweets on Bloomberg. Thank you so much for taking time to be the reporter who's actually interviewed today. I know that's not always a comfortable thing for a reporter to be the one answering the questions. So it was so great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
And best wishes to you.
Thank you.